All right. Welcome back. This is episode 2.5 or 3. What's the episode?
This is
Episode 3.
episode 3 of
This is
the
episode 3.
continuation of the saga of the Shepherd of Men.
And we're not going to do a we're not going to do a review. We're literally filming this right after we did the previous episode.
Yeah, we just
So
don't
we're
want
gonna
each one to
continue.
go too long.
Yeah.
Until we know, really what people like to watch or hear or whatever, and we haven't even. Anyway,
the last thing we mentioned was that there was gender.
Yeah,
and
and
all creatures
I
have
liked
gender.
your thing though.
Yeah.
Anyway,
XY.
where it was XY, it was
You
like
see that I circled partly? I'm like, I'm not sure
sorry,
if that should be
yeah,
there.
where he added okay, read that again. Just I know we weren't going to recap, but it was
here's
like
all
so
the
cool.
animals. The animals being male, female at the same time with man were loosed apart. Some became partly male, and that's a literal translation. Some in like fashion, partly female.
But he added the partly.
But the second time he added partly when it
So,
references female, the translator GRS or George Robert Stowe Mead, right? He actually added partly. So that technically he didn't. He might that would work if he didn't add that
the
word.
reason he added it, but the reason he added it, and sometimes you can just they add it to help to clarify
and help it flow better.
Yeah, but actually sometimes I think he added words where I'm just like, it doesn't need that. Anyway, but that's interesting because basic biology, like you're saying, is XX and XY,
everybody's female.
and then
Some of us have another
partly
chromosome.
male.
Yeah.
Just like it says there.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because like think about frogs and stuff. There's some frogs that can change themselves, change their gender.
I have one thing.
Anyway, I'm not even saying anything
add.
crazy.
I have one thing I want to
just
add.
saying
This
this
is
is
going to
what
be
it says.
this is going to be like a total.
You're going nuts.
This is going a little
Let's
nuts.
just start off.
We're going to start off way nuts. All right. So this concept of we are all male, female, but we're all in life we're basically either male or female. Okay, we're split. If this was an understood, let's say that like thousands of years ago, they kind of had this kind of notion as well.
It wasn't, yeah.
What if the Adam and Eve story, where Adam actually came first, and then the rib was taken from him, and then we made females? What if it's actually backwards? Because we didn't understand the XY chromosomes yet, and we kind of like what should be is that there was female, and then some of them became male. You know what I'm saying? Like, does that not make sense? Should I?
Well, I think it could be. Well, that's what
or
I
at
was.
least their
That's what
story
my
of it.
interpretation was trying to say is that you have the person that was there, and the person looked around. Hey, all these animals have partners, male, female. Why don't I? And all of a sudden, God went and divided them, and then all of a sudden you had man, woman. So it wasn't necessarily the gender like we think about it wasn't there in the beginning. We think of like it was a man there.
Yeah.
Adam the man. I mean, Adam's a man's name. Duh.
Have you ever known a girl named Adam?
Yeah, Eve's a girl's name. But I'm saying, anyway. But
I think, and that's what I'm saying is the story might have come after the notion.
Yeah.
So their explanation of and how we created and how Eve came around might have been based around a not complete understanding of, and so like the story might be a little different. If they understood this, there might not be Eve coming from Adam. It might have just been like Adam and Eve were at the beginning together, anyways.
Yeah. Anyway.
That was my rant.
So there's a little bonus of the last episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's an interesting idea. I haven't read it anywhere except for in here, but
yeah.
I'm saying, but there might have been a different way of looking at gender too. More of a. I mean, according to this, it's just like, oh, well, that makes sense, or not.
Do you agree that 19?
And we're not even trying to.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm saying we're not even trying to do anything political here or whatever.
Yeah.
That's not what this. We're just reading this. This is not, and taking it at face value or at what it says. Because we're not trying. We're not sitting here trying to defend.
I'm pretty sure
different doctrines and stuff. But whenever we read it, we're like, okay, what is this trying to say? That's all.
Yeah, I consider myself a fairly like open-minded, unbiased person. So, I'm not. Yeah, whether it's male, female first or male first, female, it doesn't matter. But
anyway,
one thing I wanted to ask you if you also had this problem as me is verse 19 was kind of confusing to me.
Okay.
And I had a hard time with it.
I have a big gap in my notes, so obviously
dear.
I wasn't. What was 19?
So it's mentioning the fate and the harmony again, right? It says his forethought did be means of fate and harmony affect their couplings and their generations founded, and so all things were multiplied.
Here, read nice and loud.
Okay, I think I'm understanding this more now.
Okay. Okay, read it up.
When he said this, his forethought did be means of fate and harmony affect their couplings, so couples, and their generations founded, and so all things were multiplied according to their kind. Okay, that makes more sense. The order of things is that people. Okay.
That's a biblical thing too. Remember, after their own kind.
It is, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You're getting a lot of,
and that includes like even plants and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, and he, who thus had learned to know himself, hath reached the good which doth transcend. Okay, so the previous verse it mentions how everything becomes male and female, and they are split, right?
And then they're coupling off.
And then it mentions, but man has one extra thing that he needs to figure out, and that is the nature of God too.
Okay.
Right? Or that he's deathless.
Yeah.
And that's what verse 19 is doing the same thing over.
Oh, okay.
The first one is like, we are coupled, male and female, and then the next paragraph is, and man hath learned to know himself, and hath reached that good which doth transcend abundance. But he who hath through a love that leads astray expends his love upon his body. He stays in darkness, wandering, like you read last episode.
Yeah. And suffering through
his senses things to death. So, okay. And then that's when Hermes asks a question, verse 20. Or unless you want to elaborate on 19.
Oh no, that's fine. What is the so great fault? Said I. The ignorant commit that they should be deprived of deathlessness.
And that's what I think this is a good way to explain this, because it's like, hey,
well, it's like why it's kind of like a person asking, what's wrong with sin, kind of thing, or why do you need to be punished because you're doing something? Is that what? Yeah,
I'm going to do this one more time. Or why do we get sick and die? Because we love that which hates us, right?
Why do bad things happen to good people, kind of thing?
Okay, yeah, that works.
Or I don't know. I'm just
so
we're going to keep going on.
Hermes is okay. So apparently, man can realize that they can be deathless, right?
Well, see, so he says, what is the so great fault the ignorant commit that they should be deprived of deathlessness? What is... These people don't even know what's going on. Why is it such a big deal? Or why is it that they're doing this ignorantly anyway, that they're deprived of deathlessness? Or
what do they do that's so wrong? Why can't they also be immortal? Why can't they have eternal life?
And what does he say to him? He says, thou seemest, O thou, not to have given heed to what thou heardst. Did not I bid thee think?
Did I not say to use your brain here?
Dummy! He's just like... And then Hermes says, yea, do I think, and I remember, and therefore give thee thanks.
He's like, I'm thankful for what you've taught
me. Thanks, man. He's like, but the shepherd is kind of like, dude, I don't have time. I can't explain. Just think. a little bit.
I will say that there, out of the different apocalyptic texts that I've read,
This is the best.
this is the only one that I've read that the angel actually says, "Use your brain."
Yeah.
I've never had any.
I like it.
I haven't had I don't have like this long list of apocalyptic texts. That
No,
I can,
but the one, the one where he's kind of like a little bit short.
Yeah,
you know, but I think he's kind of like, you're smart enough to know a lot of this stuff. I'm your brain anyway. But isn't he saying he's anyway?
No, you're right. That is why this is
I'm
so
your
important.
mind.
That's why this is so important.
Think about it.
Quit asking me. You already know the answer.
Oh yeah, I remember you that a while ago. You had the thing where like, you already know, man, or you've already done it.
Yeah,
you're already a success.
I think that's maybe it's a whole mind thing, and it's like, why don't you use your mind? You don't need me to specify this for like,
I can't explain every single thing. Use your head.
And so he says, if thou dost think thereon, he said, tell me, why do they merit death who are in death? And it is because the gloomy darkness is the root and base of the material frame. So like, the natural self is
just the natural state of it.
Yeah, you're natural from when it came to moist nature. So at the very basic, you're a natural, physical, death destined being.
Yeah, because you went to you went through the downward thing. You're ruled by these 7 planet, things. Yeah. That's your natural nature. But God said, you're there, multiply. You're doing this. But you have one other commandment, and that's to raise yourself up above it.
Yep, exactly. From this body in the sense world was composed, and from this body death does water drain. So it's like, hey, death is natural. You're there. And like you said, you have to that's your natural state. If you're gonna go beyond that, then you actually have to like become aware of it.
Yeah.
So that's what I have.
That's why the ignorant aren't gonna be deathless, because they aren't even they're ignorant. So it's just nature's just gonna happen.
Let's jump right into 21.
And it's not even a punishment.
No.
It's not even
like you're getting what you. It's like exactly like no. This is no punishment. This is what. This is This is like clockwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
the default.
But people always are. It's one of the biggest questions.
Oh my gosh! It's like the number one thing.
Why the heck does God cause these things? Why do babies die? Why do this, that? And it's like, that is the state of nature. That's not even, but people,
You're right.
He's answering right there. He's just like, you are in this state of nature, and unless you realize that you're in that state and want to get out of it, there's nothing that can be done. It's just the world, man. I like that.
That's what he says.
I like this.
Yeah, me too. That's what he says in 21. He says,
right was thy thought, O thou?
He who knows himself, go unto him. And I reply, the Father of the universals doth consist of light and life, and from him man was born. Thou sayest, well, light and life is Father God, and from him man was born. And then this is where my underlining parts are.
Okay.
If thou learnest that thou art thyself of life and light, and that thou happenest to if that thou only happenest to be out of them, thou shalt return again to life. I was seeing this as, you are what you think you are. If you realize what you are, or in other words, you go where you think you're going to go. The whole like, we go to heaven or hell, and then some people are like, well, you go where you're be most comfortable. Like, I'm not saying I agree with that concept, but like what I'm saying is like, there is this notion of like, hey, you're gonna whatever your future fate, your eternal fate is, it's gonna be something that you've already like, it's your choice.
Yeah.
And so
but it makes sense too in life that there's people who can be having all kinds of bad things thrown at them and stuff, but it depends on how they're taking it in, that they can make it either, kind of like a heaven or a hell. Or if they're letting everything affect them, then it's going to be really tough. But if they can let kind of be like water and, kind of flow around it and not let it quite affect them.
If we were going to, the way I,
But
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, this is that's the reason though why the ignorant can't become deathless, or deathlessness,
Yeah.
or what
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
because they don't have the knowledge to get out of it or to overcome it.
They can't peek through the harmony and see what's else is beyond.
Yeah, like
They're
that
enslaved.
picture.
Yeah.
That picture's so good.
Yeah.
I just love the little old-timey mechanical
Yeah, that's the
thing.
best part. One of the best parts of it.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say is there is a certain point, and this is found in Hermetic philosophy. This is found in a lot in these kind of older concepts. Is this notion of you are what you think you are, right? And one of the ways I recently explained to someone, and this is
You
I
are
guess-
what you eat.
yeah.
You are what you drink. Can you get me another?
Yeah, which one? I still have all three of mine. Which one do you want?
I'll drink that mineral agua.
Mineral agua. So, this might not fare well with like some Christians and stuff. So I apologize.
Anyway, whatever.
I apologize.
I know, but we're not here to. We're just here to talk about stuff. So it's
Okay,
fine.
so maybe I don't apologize, but anyway,
Well,
like one of the things I thought of recently, and I explained to someone, is the reason Jesus became God is because there's this verse in the Bible that says, "Be still and know that I am God." It's that whole mentality. Jesus walked into Jerusalem, and they're like, "Who do you think you are?" And he said, "I'm the Son of God." He kind of like made himself God by realizing who he was and realizing he had peeked through the harmony, and he realized that he was deathless, and he realized that he was a lot more than the default.
okay.
So anyways,
You know what you need to read is that book, I can think of it.
Who's it by?
James Allen, that I think, Way of Peace.
yeah,
That
I've
book's
read
so
As a
good.
Man Thinketh by him.
Way of Peace is like just what you were talking about. He was talking about the different, like the Buddha, Jesus, and how they became. You don't get to. Jesus didn't get to the state of being Jesus, of like, I mean, whether you believe it or not, but he didn't get there through ignorance.
Okay.
He got there through knowledge. He got there through meditation, through,
Which is the unpopular way to say it. A lot of people are like, he
No.
was born the Son of God.
Well, no. But even in the Bible, it says that he learned and waxed great in wisdom and knowledge, right?
Yeah, I think so. I
Yeah.
recognize
No,
that.
it does.
I recognize that.
And so it wasn't like he was just born. Even the Bible admits that much. He grew great in wisdom and stature.
You have a good memory because you kind of like quoted that off, even though you might have missed a few lines or a few words.
Well, it's one of those popular ones where you're just like,
I didn't remember.
I think part of the reason that the whole idea of him being born that way is because of the angels coming and the guys bringing him the things and stuff. That isn't necessary. That means that there's the sign and stuff, but that he still had to grow in wisdom and stature.
I'm going to throw this in. According to the story, where did he grow up for at least part of his life? And where?
Oh shoot! This is an in Egypt.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thing because, okay, if you want to look at all the great patriarchs or the early, some of them, not all of them, but even the Greeks would go down to.
Yeah, totally.
Would go down to.
Yeah, they do.
But,
There's a lot of stories about
Abraham goes down to Egypt. Isaac, or was it Jacob?
It was Jacob. It was Jacob.
Joseph.
Yeah, Joseph brought his.
I know, but Joseph was in Egypt.
Yeah.
He brought his father there. Moses came out of Egypt. I mean, okay.
Yeah,
Jesus went and.
There's a lot of connections here to be made.
That's why. We're getting. But I'm just saying, there's this interesting thing where they all go down, and some of the traditions of the Abraham thing is that actually it was Abraham that went down there and taught them mathematics.
Yes.
You know, and stuff. And I'm like, but the timeline doesn't line up.
I think they're mixing up. I think they're confusing.
Well, I'm just saying that's kind of in the some of the Jewish, not apologetics, but
no,
is it the Talmud where they go through all this different
it's
stuff?
like the discussion about it.
Yeah. Anyway, so but why were we talking about that? Oh,
so
yeah.
I mentioned Jesus was from at least the story, Jesus actually was in Egypt in his youth.
Mm-hmm.
So if you use that whole like, and he grew and he waxed.
And then what does he do? What happens when he comes back? I mean, he comes back. He's teaching the rabbis in the thing, and they're like, "Who the heck is this kid?"
Yeah, exactly.
You know, he's learned something, but
there's a few times where the Pharisees would say, like, who, like in like paraphrasing, who do you think you are? And that's what he would say. I'm doing the work of my Father.
Yeah.
You know, like he understood he was aware of who he was. This got totally off of course, but yeah, it's related though, so it works.
That's funny. We're just like totally like, hey, it's all interesting.
Spend the rest of the episode.
No, but there is interesting stuff. Well, I want to find this verse, but keep going, keep talking.
Okay, so here's 22. The further elaboration on the question that he had was, he says, "Have not all men then? Do not all men have mind?" And he says, "Thou sayest well, O thou thus speaking. I mind am present with all holy and good and pure and merciful men who live piously." So Hermes is like, wait, doesn't everybody have mind? And the answer is straightforward, pretty much. Well, only the ones that want it. Mm-hmm. Only the ones that do earn it by their actions and who live righteously. And straightway they gain gnosis of all things, and win the Father's love by their pure lives, and give him thanks, invoking on him blessings and chanting hymns, intent on him with ardent love. So mind is given to those that are seeking God, that give him praise, and that are and right whatever right the word righteous means, but are righteous. And ere they give the body up to its proper death, they turn them with disgust from its sensations, from knowledge of what things they operate. So they push away the natural man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or they realize, that wait a second, I'm more than this.
Yeah, and
than just body.
They try and like be above their natural self. Nay, it is I, the mind, that will not let the operations which befall the body work to their natural end. For being the doorkeeper, I close up all the entrances and cut the mental actions of which base and evil energies induce.
Oh, this is an interesting.
So it's like, hey, if you're wicked and you're evil, I don't give you the ability to see further.
Yeah, no, but he's saying, but this one's saying if you're good, if you're doing what you should be doing, these things get easier and easier. You kind of get further along the roads to where the mind, mm-hmm. Or the shepherd, the Poemandres, becomes the doorkeeper, and he starts closing up entrances and cut off mental actions which are base and evil. Yeah. So your mind, it's kind of like, right? It could be like some people would call it the Holy Ghost.
The Holy Ghost.
But it's saying, but it's like it's kind of like a river, or where a river will run down a certain stream, but
I'm gonna listen to your analogy intently.
Forget it. I don't think that's going that good. I'm saying, but the more you're running in one, it's something along the lines of, if you're going in one direction, you're going to keep going momentum. Yeah. And that's what this seems to be, is that if you're doing good, you're going to increase. Okay, let's go back to Luke and talk about Jesus and talk about it in this context.
Do it.
But okay, so in Luke chapter 2 verse 40 it says, "And the child grew and waxed strong in spirit, filled with wisdom, and the grace of God was upon him." and where is it? Where they and then in Luke 2 verse 52, and Jesus increased in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man. So he wasn't just it was kind of added. It seems like it's saying that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No, I don't know how you can interpret it
why.
differently. It says a child, he was gaining wisdom and intelligence, right?
Yeah. So anyway, I mean that, but so just like Jesus in this, he's as he's increasing in wisdom and stature, he's increasing in favor with God and man. That those things are being added to him.
That totally correlates to this, Mark. Well, it does, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, but then you have so this is the mindful ones, I called it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, because it actually says mindless next, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the mindful, and then now to the mindless.
Yeah, the mindless ones in verse 23.
Yep.
But to the mindless ones, the wicked and depraved, the envious and the covetous, and those who murder and do love
and love
murder do and love impiety, I am far off, yielding my place to the avenging Damon. I guess it's Damon.
Yeah.
Who sharpening the fire tormenteth. So anyway, it gets bad for them, so that he meets with greater torment, nor doth he ever cease to have desire for appetites inordinate, insatiately striving in the darkness. So, so for the ignorant or the mindless ones, what happens is they start clinging to that desire, and then as you desire, guess what happens? Desire increases.
Yeah.
Desire never diminishes. This is one thing. If you've ever read any Buddhist stuff, you know that desire can be insatiable. You can want everything, and you still will not. And you can get what you desire, and then what happens? You desire more.
Yep.
Especially being human and appetites and stuff. And appetites. I mean, I'm just even a food appetite. You can want a great steak. You can get that great steak. You can enjoy that steak or whatever you're eating, that meal. And
that Beyond Burger.
Then, that great fake burger, you know. But no, that's why I was but what happens? You enjoy it, and then it's gone. And guess what happens? 6-8 hours
you want more
later, you're hungry again.
Yeah.
And so I mean, in that case, I mean, your desires, just even if they are fulfilled, they create more desire.
Well, and this puts a lot of emphasis on you choose your destination, and that's where you're going, and it's black or white. You're going whether it's up or down, or whether you're heading towards God or whether you're heading towards the natural man. I think that it's trying to say, like, you can't be both.
See, that's the thing. Okay, again, back to he's trying to understand nature.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is some kind of law of nature, I guess.
Yeah. That's right. You're right. This is the point this is the question that he had, right?
Yeah. Okay. So this is just, and remember, it's like, why don't the ignorant? Why did they not get deathless? And it's like, it's just not going to happen. It's like, I'm trying to think of I wish I could have had an analogy, but it's just not going to, it just is not it's not going to happen for them, or, you know, in that state. You can't be like, you can't be filthy and walk into a clean room. And I mean, I know that.
Okay. I know where you're going.
That, and you become the.
So one of the things that I was
do an analogy for me.
I don't have an analogy, but I know that in like one of the concepts that I was taught when I was younger is on the question of, like, where do you go after this life? It's like you go where, like, when you die, you go like you are what you when you die you are still that like you're still if you die if you leave this life wicked you're still like wicked. If you leave this life good you're still good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you'll go
so where you're facing kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's kind of like that's what I was taught kind of is I think
okay
a lot of people probably are, but like is that's where the state of your state upon leaving this realm is where you've decided to go.
Yes. Yeah,
what was the word you just used? The phrase.
Well, that's the thing is that there's a lot of things about judgment and different things in there, and and I think
there's a judgment later on in this too.
I know, but it's not necessarily a judgment.
No,
like,
it's more of like a.
It's just the nature. That's what I'm saying. Like they're kind of somewhat taking the judgment and like this God's like boom boom boom, like you are going to hell, you are going to heaven, you're going here, I'm punishing you for this and this, and it's like he's more saying this is just it's just the way it is. And
it's far more just simple and basic.
Yeah.
And that's I think it's what you're
trying
to say.
Yeah, because it's like, right? Oh, well, these guys, why is it that...
Why would they? Is an answer. Why would they?
Yeah.
Like, Why don't they also?
No, not why don't they? It's like, why would they? Because they don't know anything.
Yeah, they haven't done it.
It's I mean, and so I guess it's part of the thing is you need to wake up to the state, and realize it's like the Matrix or something.
Yeah, awareness.
Like, awareness. Here you go. Here's those 2 pills. Which one are you going to take? Because most of us are living in the blue pill world.
Yeah. Do you want to become aware of what's
a lot
real?
of us are very happy to be living in that world because sometimes it's really tough.
Oh, the Matrix is all over this. Totally. Yeah.
Anyway, so
are we on 25 now?
Yeah. This is interesting. Where the
speed is the key word I thought from this.
Speed.
Yeah, with Mando speed his way towards the harmony.
Yeah, this is interesting because he's going up through the harmony, upward through it. Okay, so remember he went into it. So
it's inside of it where men are slaves.
Yeah, but
to fate.
Remember that. Okay, so he's coming down through the harmony. There's like these 7 layers. You'll see it as he comes out, but remember that veil that you talked about, the veil of ignorance that that veil is placed over them, and then it's up to humans, or mind, to be able to break through that veil.
Yep.
With those different things, those 7 ruling planets or spheres, those all represent different things, and we'll see here that as man's as the what is the called the whole man, not the whole man, what's that word that we didn't like?
I remember it. It is the
dang it. Anyway, not the it was there's anyway whatever it was, the empire or
essential man.
The essential man. When he becomes the essential man, he's going back up through the harmony, and there's 7 different things that he's breaking through, or that become de-energized.
That's the term that we use.
I like the de-energized.
No, me too.
Yeah. It's like, So anyway, let's go through.
So the first zone, he gives the energy of growth and waning.
Which is, okay. Yeah, let's go through
the second zone, divisive evils.
Now de-energized.
The third, the guile of the desires.
No,
which you mentioned, desire, right?
Yeah.
The guile. So the trick or the
being tricked by desire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
De-energized. The fourth, his domineering arrogance, also de-energized. And to the fifth, unholy daring and rashness.
Of audacity.
I liked that one.
I don't know what it means, but it sounds cool.
Unto the sixth, striving for wealth, by evil means, deprived of its aggrandizement. I looked that up. I had to look that up because it's a big word for me. And to the seventh zone, ensnaring falsehood. So trickery, right? Being fooled into falsehood. Ensnaring, right?
Yeah, getting out of that.
Being trapped into falsehood.
Yeah, so all these things, like, okay, I like the de-energize because it's like they have these clamps on you.
Yeah.
Like you're clamped in 7 different places.
Oh, this is good.
And as you're flying up, you know, you're being launched in that. Like you imagine him flying up through the thing, and all of a sudden,
pieces are breaking off, like Iron Man's suit. Or something.
Lustfulness de-energized. You know, and you're like you're kind of like you know you can move your hand around. Also, you know, there's other one.
Well, yeah, you're being liberated. From these seven like
Iron Man.
Yeah, you're being liberated from these 7 levels of confinement or of
mortality, almost, or of nature.
Yeah, you're being liberated from it.
So, anyway, it was interesting because these 7 zones relate to some of the 7 planets.
Yeah.
Like some of the different ones, like I actually put like domineering arrogance is related to Jupiter. It's desire for rule.
Okay, that's cool. Okay. That's good. That's cool.
Mercury is did I have that one?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's cupidity or greed for money or possessions. Remember?
Okay.
Getting what was that one? The
wealth by evil means.
Yeah. Striving for wealth by evil means. Venus would go under lustfulness, which would be guile of the desires.
Okay.
Anyway, this is just...
Yeah, what do you think is the rashness of audacity?
That's Mars.
Daring. Okay.
Which is passionateness. Just this passion, this, you know, rashness, daring, you know, being just total passion. And then Saturn, well, Saturn wasn't, that one was kind of a tough one, but they said ensnaring falsehood, which is sluggishness. I don't know. But cool. Anyway, those are some of the things where they use different terms.
I think energy of growth probably and waning, would that be the sun or the moon? Sun probably. Divisive evils.
I don't know. See, that's the thing. They didn't totally have them all.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought that was interesting that those 7 zones were, because it's all related, and that's that. Remember when we were talking about the thing, and he was talking about the different translations of these, and that the people that translated them, there's one thing that you have to have is an understanding of the religious, or not religious, the culture and stuff, the tech, you know, like in order to translate.
Totally.
And if you don't know this, this is all stuff that I just learned just by kind of looking and reading and doing a little bit of study. So there's a lot more to it than you would
and
think.
as you pick up, as you read other texts, I'm sure like things start to open up more from previous ones that you read. Like, oh, okay, I can see what that one meant back, you know.
Yeah. So okay. So this is where the apocryphal kind of texts. Roy G. Biv, dude. Are you talking about the rainbow?
Yeah.
Taste the rainbow.
Law of correlation. There's 7 colors in the rainbow.
What?
Law of correlation.
That's awesome.
Yeah. God works everything's in patterns, right?
Yeah.
The rainbow.
Roy G. Biv.
When you said that, I didn't know what you meant.
Red, orange,
I
yellow,
get it now.
Blue, indigo, violet.
I get it now.
Wait a second. Red, orange, yellow, blue,
violet,
green.
No.
Wait. Red.
We're going way off here.
Roy G. Biv.
If in the comments, feel free to list out the colors of the rainbow.
Okay. Anyway, but okay. So But what I was trying to say is this is now becoming a complete apocryphal text.
Yes.
Because you have the beginning where there's the questioning, you have the creation, the cosmology,
That's
whatever.
That's deep. You're good.
Right?
I agree.
Then you have the explanation of the state of man, why he's sinning, why he's wicked, why he's good. And then now you have the saving of a man, right? This guy being flying up, having all this stuff de-energized out of him.
So I don't understand why you have one text, you have one book that lists this as the second text.
Yeah.
But G.R.S. Mead actually states that he, according to his opinion, this first one is the most important.
That's probably why I put it at the front.
Yeah.
Well, I think that it's just there.
The numbering is not like the numbering is probably by us today. It's not like
yeah.
But Mead states that this is the most important of the 17.
Yeah, in his opinion, I think he says that because it encompasses all of. It has points of all of them, and that's why we're excited to get into the next the future ones, because we don't have a complete understanding, but
they elaborate more.
But I think as you
like there's one text that's basically about the
all mind,
the zodiac. There's one about the mind.
Yeah. So, but
anyhow.
Okay, so what happens after this? So, and then with all the energizings of the harmony stripped from him in verse 26, clothed in his proper power, he cometh to that nature which belongs unto the eighth, and there with those that are himeth the Father. Anyway, so
you know why there's only 7 colors in the rainbow? Because the 8th one you can't see. I made that up.
Oh, because we suddenly got 8.
Well, but the 8th one is is like the last is like the All Father.
Yeah.
Like, and how often do we is the God? How often does God refer to as the invisible one? So that's what I'm going at. But yeah.
You're trying to make it fit.
Like I'm like pushing it in to make it fit.
This is gonna fit. There's one we can't see. All right. Okay. So, and then they in a band go to the Father home of their own selves. They make surrender to themselves to powers, and becoming powers, they are in God. Okay, this is the important part. The good end for those who have gained gnosis, to be made one with God. So they've overcome all this stuff, and they are made one with God. Remember that they said that co-equal with God. I mean, according to this, you've overcome everything. You're co-equal. You're not sitting. You're co-equal, whatever that means. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't think that is a right answer for what that necessarily means, other than, like we talked about earlier, is why was Jesus God? Because he said he was. He decided to be at that point. Like, be still and know that I am God. Like, I'm God. And so he made himself God. He gets through he goes through these 8 layers, these 8 zones. Yeah, he's it.
Did he go to AutoZone?
Yeah.
You gotta get in the zone.
Okay. A wood tire replacement.
Well, this is an interesting thing. So he's learned all this stuff, and now he's like pumped, like, and it's like, why shouldest thou then delay? Must it not be, since thou hast all received, that thou shouldest?
What verse is that?
Oh, this is the end of 26.
Oh.
Okay, that thou shouldest do the worthy point the way, in order that through thee the race of mortal kind may by God be saved. So anyway, this is an interesting thing, and actually GRS Mead he thinks this is something added in way later.
Does he?
Yeah, because he's like, well, this doesn't make, because all of a sudden he starts going out and preaching.
It's Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens?
The being saved.
Well, that and going out and preaching.
Yeah, this is Christian.
Hermetic stuff. Okay,
the whole nature of it.
As far as I understand, is Hermetic is not a preaching gospel. You don't go forth to the rooftops.
You go to the master.
Yeah.
The student
meet,
goes to the master.
You meet people and you talk to each other, but something to be hermetically sealed, or I guess it's actually the same word, but like a hermetically tight.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, cool.
Thing it's sealed. It's not something that you just. It's kind of like the thing you don't. The pearls to swine or whatever.
You have to break it away and dig.
It's like it's not something that you just go out and preach. And so this is but in this text it has him going out and preaching.
You're right. That makes sense. I didn't catch that in the notes, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's how when I tell people about this, one of the first things I say about these Hermetic philosophy is that it's a teacher to student type of kind of like other more kind of like a few other religious contexts are.
Yeah, it's not a numbers thing with them. It's like
you go
if somebody's interested, or I don't know how it works. I've never talked to.
Well, it's like kind of like it's kind of like Abraham going to Melchizedek, right?
Yeah.
Or that's like the concept is like, hey, there's this understanding that I'm interested in knowing more about. I'm gonna go find it.
Yeah.
Versus like having people knock on your door and tell you that what you should believe.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, there's this thing where he goes out and he teaches, and there's some people that believe him, and some that don't. But cool. I like what he says though. O ye people, earthborn folk, ye who have given yourself to drunkenness and sleep and ignorance of God, be sober now. Cease from your surfeit. Cease to be glamoured by irrational sleep. So he's like, wake up, folks.
Yeah, you're just living. You keep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
I love that line.
This part though too
sleep.
could be added. I don't think it's necessarily bad because it's like we just read this thing, and it could be more to the like where they're saying it to whoever's reading it. So hey, wake up. Look, this is the vision this guy just had. Now he's going out and preaching it. And so this is his words to you. Hey, wake up. Quit, you wake up out of your slumber, out of your drunkenness.
Does Mead suggest that this verse also could be added?
Oh, he says that the whole part where he's out there preaching to people just doesn't seem seems possible. But then he really likes he says this little prayer or whatever it is
the triple trisagion
is part of the original. So
is it part of the original?
Supposedly.
So is there anything we should get to before we read the triple trisagion?
Oh, you want to read it? Okay.
Oh, is there anything else before that? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've talked about some really good stuff.
Verse 31 is, it's referred to as Mead refers to it as the triple trisagion. Trisagion.
Okay.
And the reason why he calls that is because a trisagion is a Christian type of prayer. Or actually, it's not just Christian. Other religions have a prayer.
Well, I can look.
It's a triple. So, like, have you ever heard a prayer that goes, "O God, holy art thou, how wonderful are you, how powerful are you, blah, blah, blah."
Yeah, it goes and explains.
Yeah.
Like.
And so there's these three different references to God and then a content. Well, this does that, but it does that 3 times. There's actually 9 lines in this one. And so it's a triple trisagion. The first 3 lines refer to one are related. The second 3 lines are related, and the third 3 lines are related.
Oh, okay.
So the first 3 lines, and it might be based, I'm not sure. Are they related to the 3 questions? I'm not sure. But let's see. The first line goes, "Holy art thou, O God, the universal's Father." Okay, so the first line's about God, right? The Father. "Holy art thou, O God, whose will perfects itself by means of its own powers." And then, "Holy art thou, O God, who willeth to be known and art known by thy own." Well, that's the first 3.
Okay.
Then the next 3 go, Holy art thou, who didst by word make to consist the things that are. So this is now the next 3 lines are nature, right? Or the creation.
See, but is this seems like okay?
The creation.
This is the same as okay.
Oh, you think so?
Like that's the same as this one. This first one. Hear the universal's Father. Holy art thou, who didst create or make consistent things that are. So you're the creator again. Holy art thou, of whom all nature hath been made an image. Holy art thou, who perfects yourself by its own powers. I don't know. How is this thing supposed to work?
We'll see. The next line says, Holy art thou, of whom all nature hath been made an image. Holy art thou, whose form nature hath never made. Then the last 3, Holy art thou, more powerful than all power. Holy art thou, transcending all preeminence. And holy art thou, thou better than all praise. So that's the triple trisagion. And it's that's Mead's term for this. But it's basically a prayer.
The triple trace McGeehan. Say it 5 times fast.
Start using. I would suggest any of our listener or watchers or listeners to actually start using this prayer now.
Yeah, you
so
really freak some people out.
Have an index card that you put when you're asked to say prayer. You can just say
that would be awesome. Like too bad Thanksgiving just passed.
Yeah.
Like, will you offer the Thanksgiving prayer? And then you say, Holy art thou. Where is... I was just looking where it had his little commentary on it. Yeah. So anyway...
so I got my notes off of Wikipedia for this one. So I don't know if he says that in his, but...
Says the treatise is concluded by a most noble hymn in which the further growth and effort of the man in spirit is set forth.
Well, here's that hymn right here.
Oh.
This is the last part of it.
Oh.
Accept my reasonings, offerings pure, from soul and heart, for I stretch up to thee, O thou unutterable, unspeakable, whose name naught but the silence can express.
Give ear to me who pray that I may ne'er of gnosis fail, which is our common being's nature, and fill me with thy power and with this grace, that I may give the light to those in ignorance of my race, my brethren and thy sons. Okay, so there's the little prayer at the end. So
that reminds me of that serenity prayer.
Yeah.
Doesn't it remind you of that a little bit? So
anyway, so there you go. There's the end of it. So if you, hopefully this has been somewhat enlightening. I know I've learned a few things as we've been exploring through it.
You know, it's the thing is we started this several weeks ago because it's been a few weeks since we did our first of this, our first episode of this Hermetic of this text number 1, the Shepherd of Men, right? Mm-hmm. And so I was studying it for a little bit, researching it. I read it, and then we've had several weeks in between. I feel like just today, as even sitting here, some things clicked that hadn't clicked in the last several weeks.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, hopefully.
Thank you, Mark, for teaching me today.
Hopefully, as we get further along and become more acquainted with the way they speak about stuff and also the doctrines or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll be able to speak better
and before
more
we'll be peeking through the harmony before that happens.
Yeah, we're just
if these videos if we just all of a sudden stop putting new videos on YouTube,
we're up in heaven, dude.
Yeah, we've peeked through harmony. We've broken through.
No, we won't leave you.
We'll make you come to us at that point. Wait.
Hey, if these videos suddenly stop, just read what we were reading before and study it, and maybe you'll be able to come to where we're at. Okay. Anyway, I don't know what the... Okay, anyway, let's get out of here. So thanks for watching, and we don't know what exactly we're going to do next. So
no, it'll be a surprise.
A complete surprise, because there's a few different things that I'm interested in.
Yeah, same.
There's
too much
are outside of necessarily the Hermetic stuff.
Yeah, there's too much.
So,
do.
all right. Well, thanks for watching or listening, and hopefully you'll share it if you like it or whatever.
Yeah. We
or
have.
hopefully you get something out of it. I don't know. Even if you don't share it, I don't care.
No, we don't care if you share this.
I actually like watching them myself. So, because actually I still learn it. Because I'm saying we're in the process of talking to each other, and then I'm like, oh wait, I didn't think of that. Like whenever in the first one you drop the knowledge, oh, the 7 things or the planets. I was like, what? I didn't know that.
We don't even care if you thumbs up this or not. I mean, we don't even share it.
This is reverse psychology.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for
Talk to
watching.
you later.
Bye.